Namaste friends. Today we are going to discuss about the C language. So first of all we are going to discuss about the basic things about the C language. C language is a language with the help of this we try to communicate with the computers. For example, I am communicating to you with the help of English or Hindi language. In the same way, if you want to communicate with computer at that time we use the language. And there are so many languages, but the basic language is the C language which is invented first. And after this there were so many languages who is modified in C and comes in another form like C++, Java, Python. There's so many languages, but the basic language, the mother language is the C language. So I'm going to talk about the C language. So the C language is developed by the Dennis Ritchie for creating system applications that directly interact with the hardware devices such as drivers, kernels, and etc. Friends, drivers and kernels are the part of operating system. If when we discuss about the operating system, at that time I will tell you about the drivers and kernels. Basically, kernels are the main part of the computer system which has the command over the whole system. So this is the kernel. uh, and another thing is C program is considered as the base for the programming languages. That is why it is known as mother language, as I have already told you that this is used as a base language for another language, and if we modify the C language we go for another language like C++, Java, Python. There is little bit difference. So these are the modification of the C languages, and it can be defined by the following ways. There are some property we are going to discuss about the C language. So the first property is that this is a mother language, as I've already discussed. So but I will also discuss these things. System programming languages, procedure oriented programming language, structure programming language, and mid-level programming language. And friends, now we are going to discuss all these things one by one. C as a mother language. C language is considered as the mother language of all the modern programming languages because most of the compilers, JVMs, kernels, etc. are written in C language, and most of the programming languages follow C syntax. For example, C++, Java, C has, and etc. So friends, for example, you listen that compilers, JVMs, kernels. Friends, as I've discussed that JVMs, kernels, etc. these are the parts of the operating system. So these things also motivated from the C language. Uh, Another thing is that C as a system programming language. A system programming language is used to create system software. C language is a system programming language because it can be used to do low level programming, for example driver and kernel. It is generally used to create hardware devices, operating system, drivers, kernels, etc. For example, Linux kernel is written in C. Linux is a operating system that we use generally in our college when we do practicals. At that time, lab we also use. But for the work, we also use this Linux operating system, and which is very useful for us. And in the operating system, we discuss all these things very uh, long way. But here our main motto is to discuss about the only C language. So we will discuss only C language. This is some theory part which is not much important, but for knowledge you can learn all these things. C as a procedural language. A procedure is known as the function, method, routine, subroutine, etc. As procedural language specifies a series of steps for the programs to solve the problems. For example, if there are so many steps is given, we can specify the particular steps and we can solve the problems and go ahead one by one. And in this procedural language break the programs in part, and we can read the parts, and according to that we can solve our problems, and which is helpful for us to understand the particular code which is written there in C language. Now we are going to discuss our structure programming language. This is a subset of the procedural language. Structure means to break a programming parts or blocks so that it may be easy to understand. In the C language, we break the program into parts using function. It makes program easier to understand and modify. As I have already told you that if you break the programs in parts, it will help us to understand, because sometimes it creates problems to understand the whole program. So if you break the programs in parts, then it can be easy for us to understand. So these things are given in this. Friends, till now we were discussing about the historical and theoretical parts and some basic property of the C language. But from today, from this lecture, we also try to cover some basic parts which is important for us, because in C language our main motto to understand the codes, how to write the codes, what is the basic feature of the codes, and which type of awareness we will have in our mind, so that we cannot commit any mistake while writing any code. So we are going to discuss all those things. In your screen it is given that to write the first C program, open the C console and write the following code. Or if you are using any app or any system, in you will have to go in the where you write the codes, and there you have to write all these things which is written in this on screen, like hashtag include stdio standard input output dot h int main print hello. See, long as you can write whatever you want in this is parenthesis and then semicolon and then return 0. If you do not, you don't write return 0, it is not necessary, and then the curly bracket. But you have to write this double quote. Without double quote it is not possible to write the code, because it is important. This is just a feature and this is the structure. We have to follow the syntax. We cannot break the syntax. If we break the syntax, then there will be some error. So before doing we write the codes and then we compile the codes. If there will not be any error, then we run the codes and we will get the result. What we will get whatever we want to get. For example, if want to run this program, we get hello C language. This will be written in our screen, so we read this. In the upcoming videos we will make a lot of problems, we discuss about those problems, so these things will be completely clear. But today this is the basic things. So it is very important to write the include stdio.h. Without this we cannot write any program. And this main part, int main part, is also very important. So these things we will have to remember, because this is the part of syntax. We have to remember all these things, then we can write read, or then we can write any code in our computer. So as I have told you that include stdio.h includes the standard input output library function. So there are some function which is already given in this include stdio.h, so we have to follow this. And the printf function is defined in stdioh. So if we are using this function printf, scanf, and there's so many things is given in the include stdio.h, so we have to follow all these things. So printf means we are if we want to anything print in our screen, we use this printf. But if you want to give input to our computer system, at that time we use scanf. So scanf will just take the input from us and we give the input. So we will discuss all these things in the upcoming videos. So if you have any problems, you can write in the comment box. I will try to solve those problems, and from today we will cover all the parts one by one. So thank you friends.